If you are sick of conceding goal after goal on FC24 and want some tactical changes to tighten up that defense, we've got you covered. So we're going to talk about how second man press, which is the R1 button on PlayStation, the RB button on Xbox, is so crucial to helping you defend on FC24. And the reason for this is you are then allowed to basically put pressure onto the ball holder while you then go and manipulate your defense in a way that you want and move a player in to help cover you with the extra passing lane. So if we take a look at this example here, you can see that I am grabbing Kimmich and I'm trying to pull my Kimmich back. He is my centre mid. I'm also holding R1 to get that second man press, RB on Xbox. We can now see the green icon above that player's head. How does second man press select? It grabs the closest player to the ball that you are not controlling. So right now it is my right back Carlos Alberto. What a lot of people seem to get confused is they think the second man press will always be the L1 second defender switch icon indicator, and that isn't always the case. So you see how like here now that second defender switch icon is on my right centre back. It won't always grab that second man press for that. All right, it will grab the player that is closest to the ball that you are not controlling, that is goal side of the ball as well. So the reason why this is good, right? You can see here in this scenario, the opponent doesn't take the run down the wing with Ribery. He decides to cut back in. Now I want to reduce this gap between these two players. This little tactical change of you wanting to try and always bring your centre mids back is so needed. So many people are like, my centre mids are doing nothing in defence. It's like they're standing there deciding what they're going to have for their chippy dinner on a Friday night. They're going to have fish and chips, or they're going to have sausage and chips. What are they going to have? They're not engaged. They're not doing anything. That's on you to manually pull them back. So you can see how here I pull Kimmich back. I'm holding sprint to reduce that gap, and then I'm applying that second man press. Now, if he chooses to run into this gap, which he does, I can pressure him and win the ball. What he should do is go back into the free man and look to recycle. But so many players don't want to go backwards, right? They always want to continuously go forward. Almost be a bit of a headless chicken at times. That just means I can come across and make that tackle. Second man press is so important. So something to add on to with second man press, you are constantly player switching with your right stick, right? And we'll touch on that as well today. With second man press, what it allows you to do is to just apply that pressure to the ball holder while you pull and cover that extra lane. Can you see how here with Salah, I was covering off Drogba, forcing the opponent to not play that pass? He can't do that. I've covered that passing lane. But the big thing, when I have covered his most obvious passing lane into Drogba, I apply pressure. There's no point in me just staying on Drogba here with Salah and going, hello, I'm going to man mark you all the way. We need to go to the ball holder and apply that pressure. But first, we have to cover that passing lane. And we cover that passing lane, then we apply that pressure. Now, he does really well. He turns and goes. So I then go for that quick tap of L1, LB on Xbox to get back to the player closest to the ball. But then what do? I switch over to Kimmich again, wanting to bring my centre mids back. I don't want them to have the freedom to get in between the midfield and the defense. This space here is where the opponent can cause danger. So I want to pull that back. I continuously hold that second man press. I get that second man press for the 4 seconds and then come across and make that challenge. So spotting the danger is going to be massive for you to defending better on FC24. And this little tactical change for you to learn how to right stick switch will help you concede so many less goals. Now the opponent picks the ball up, he goes direct through the middle and then plays it forward. You can see immediately how I've already switched over to my centre back. I'm trying to spot that danger. Now I end up going over here onto my left centre back and then switch back to my right centre back, and what I'm waiting for is essentially the run and the ball, and I'm just standing in that lane getting ready to cover it and to be on that straight away. But if you take a look at how many times I right stick switch, how quickly I right stick switch to get onto those players will be so beneficial. Now I'm just going to screenshot this there for us. We can see that I am currently on Kimmich. Right stick switching, people complain about it, all right? It's not a perfect mechanic, but when you understand this, this should help you. Right stick switching, your center of your right analog stick is the person that you are currently controlling if you are on player relative. If you are on ball relative, the center of your right analog stick is the ball, okay? I'm on player relative, so the center of my right analog stick is Kimmich. We're going to draw a clock around this, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Where I want to switch to is based off this clock. Right now, the center of my clock is Kimmich. If I want to change over to my right center back here, I have to push the right analog stick in that direction. You take a look in the top right, you can see I am doing exactly that. The problem where people go wrong is the difference between that switch and that switch on your right analog stick is so minor that you can get it wrong super easily. You have to be precise. I have my right stick switching sensitivity on 8. The lower the number for you means that the AI will essentially assist you heavier. So it might not always go to where you want. I think the default is 4. So take a look at that setting if you feel that that is something you need to do. But I switch, I'm getting ready. Okay, I see Henry. I then switch my left centre back. So I'm like, oh, okay, the ball holder, I need to get a little bit closer. And then I realize, okay, there is a run here. I actually do need to, track this. I second man press with my right back to put that pressure on. And as easy as you like, cover that pass. So something that I don't think is talked about enough on FT24 is advanced defending. This is a setting that you need to enable in your controller settings. And what it's going to give you the ability to do is to hold X on PlayStation, hold A on Xbox to go for a shoulder barge. You can still press circle to tackle as you want. The tactical defending is the default. That's what people have been running, previous years. And essentially, the circle button would act as 3 things. It would be a tackle, it would be a tug on the shirt, and it would be a shoulder barge. But the game would decide for you. If you move over to advanced defending, you only have 2 things to worry about. Circle is tackle, where they will lunge and put their foot out, and holding X or A on Xbox will give you this shoulder barge. We need to use our real life footballing brain here and think, if I'm ever side by side with someone and I can use my strength, I'm going to hold that X button, that A button to get that. And you can see here, this is it. Henry's breaking away. I want to get that cover. What do? I hold X and I'm just pointing in that direction that I'm running, and you can see how Militao just uses that shoulder, gets ahead of him and says, no, you are not having that. That is so much more difficult to do on tactical defending, because if you press circle there, well, you might get a tug of the shirt, you might get a tackle, or you might get a shoulder barge, but the shoulder barge isn't as good as it is on advanced defending compared to tactical. So if you don't have advanced defending on, give that a go, and that tactical change will be so huge for you to concede less goals. A feature that can really help you stop the byline drives is the partial team press feature. So this works similarly to second man press, but it does have some variants. We need to double tap and then hold the R1 button on that second tap, RB on Xbox. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you 2 little blue indicators. And these blue indicators are going to say to these players, get touch tight, stay with your player, stay with your man. So Militao is going to track Henry all this way. And this is super beneficial in areas where you want your centre mids to track back for you. You can't switch to Kimmich here and let obviously Arujo just give up that space. So we are going to use this partial team press feature. What then you need to do with the person that you are controlling is apply that pressure to the ball holder yourself. That's where it's different to second man press. Second man press, the AI will press for you, but with partial team press, you need to press the ball holder, okay? So you can just see how Militao stays with Henry, Kimmich stays with that man there, and then goes. Now, you might not always select the 2 players that you might want, so you have to let go of the R1 and then re-enable it to try and get it onto the 2 players that you want. You can see how Militao's there. That then means I force Henry back and into a more dangerous, more favourable position for me, and I can release that ball. So just keep an eye on my R1 button here on my controller, double tap and then hold on that second tap, and that gives us that unbelievable feature that you have to be using in those sort of areas. So something that's probably not talked about enough is actually pressing the tackle button. So many people just try to jockey into their opponent by holding L2. You can see right now that I am going to come forward and I'm going to tackle Cruyff. The reason why is that the ball is in between the person that I am controlling and the person that the opponent is controlling. It's almost on the red carpet. It's saying here, would you like to try and tackle? Would you like to try and come through? I'm just holding jockey here to go into this. One thing to take into account, people ask all the time, when do I sprint? When do I sprint jockey? And when do I just jockey? Essentially, if the opponent's running like Usain Bolt in behind and you need to match that sprint, just hold R2. If the opponent's just dribbling, they're moving quite slow, then you can just use the jockey button. And then you may enable the sprint button as a bit of a speed up. I need to kind of cover some ground quickly. And then you're going to use the R2 and L2 quite a lot when you're kind of covering in the middle with your centre mids when they're passing it around. But you can see how I just come through and then put that tackle in and actually press the tackle button, right? That is not talked about enough. If you want to go through and win the ball, press the tackle button. Go in and press circle. Another thing that you can do as well is you can actually hold R1 to do a strong power tackle, R1 and circle, RB and B on Xbox, and that will basically commit to a heavier animation, but it will give you a stronger tackle and essentially have more chance of you coming out. And if you want to take that game even further, click this video right here for our latest 4-3-2-1 custom tactics.